G'day fellas, and welcome to an updated Byzantine build order for Season 6. In this video, we're going to be going over a build order that includes the new buff that the Byzantines have received. That is the extra 50 stone at the start. Now, you might look at that and think that's a very small buff, only 50 stone. But the reality is it's much bigger than that. And the truth is you get an extra 50 wood as well, because you don't have to put down that mining camp immediately, which helps speed up your early game. So let's get into it. We're going to start off by queuing all of our villagers in our town center as quickly as we can, and then we're going to move all of our villagers over towards stone. We're going to peel one of them off, and with that one villager, we're going to hit a sheep underneath our town center, and then she's going to go and build a cistern. So let's get into it. So all of the villagers over towards here, and then one villager onto the sheep, and then she's going to come over here and drop down a cistern. It's important that when we put our cistern down, we want to make sure that it doesn't cross the line of the town center. So you don't want to put your cistern down in a position like this, because if you do that, it's going to screw with the pathing of your villagers underneath the town center, as well as make it difficult for you to place buildings around there. So my best advice, try and keep it avoiding going through that town center. Go for something like this on the top side or on the bottom side. Makes it a little bit easier. All right, so we've got that cistern that's coming up, and now we're sending out our scout to the middle of the map. Of course, we're going to go for a nice little loop and then come back around just looking for sheep. And now what we're going to do is we're going to use this one cistern villager to come down and build a mining camp. From our town center, we're going to rally our first villager out over to sheep, and this villager is then going to make a house as soon as we possibly can with this villager, because we need to get the stone from this house that's about to come through. So we just want to make sure it's 2 tiles away from the town center so we can fit a ring of farms around our town center later. And now we're going to drop off that 50 stone that we've just long distance mined, just like we were playing the Ottomans, and now we've got 100 stone with one of those villagers. We're going to go up and build a second cistern. We're going to make sure it's in a nice little line here. Our 2 cisterns are in a line, and then we're going to use that same villager that we built the house with to connect these cisterns. And I know it might seem like a lot at the moment, but I want you to go in, if you're playing the Byzantines and you want to get a really nice build order, this is definitely the way to go. Go in and practice it against the AI, just the same way that I'm doing at the moment. I'm just looking to try and get it perfect and bring it out to you guys as quickly as I possibly can. I would take this into the ranked queue and put it up against a person, but the reality is we've got a controlled environment here where we can just kind of demonstrate it without having to worry about too much and focus more on the macro side of things, because that's important. So at 1 minute and 16 seconds, we get our level 2 cistern, which is pretty nice. And after finishing that aqueduct, we're going to move out that villager over out to gold. A little bit of a mistake here from us that we do lose 2 food, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. Now, this build order, the early game definitely seems like there's a lot going on, and that's where the PhD of the Byzantines comes through, the rumored PhD that you require to play the civilization. The reality is, for this build order, you don't need it. Only for the beginning. Once you can get that down, it's really simple, because all I do from here is I rally 11 villagers out over to food. That's it. Very, very simple. 11 villagers out onto food, and over here we've got 2 villagers on gold, and that's it. There's no sneaky little, 2 on stone, 2 on gold, 2 on wood, then the rest on food. Just really, really simple stuff. And with that, we just wait for our age up to come through. We're going to continue picking up our sheep around the base. Don't worry about exploring the enemy's base just yet. We're only 2 minutes into the game. Not really that important just yet. Now, keep in mind, you can use this strategy against pretty much every single civilization. You might have a bit of trouble against the English if they do a men-at-arms rush against you, and you might have to look to try and bring a couple more villagers out here onto the gold. But our age up time will be pretty competitive, and this is a kind of standard opening that most other civilizations do. So from here, now that we've got 11 villagers on food, we're going to rally our town center out to, and you can see what I've done here. So I've utilized one villager, or used one villager to build a lumber camp. Yeah, lumber camp. Build a lumber camp on the wood line. And what I'm telling my town center to do is rally to that lumber camp to build it, and then rally to the trees. And that's going to do an if statement. It's going to say, if the lumber camp is complete, then continue to the trees. That's all it does for the subsequent villagers. So we can just continue doing that. Don't have to worry about it. So now what we're going to do, at 2 minutes and 30, not a bad little timing here, we're going to be putting down our landmark with 5 villagers. We're going to be going for the hippodrome, and we're not going to worry about stomping straggler trees, because we don't need to worry about that here, simply because we've got that extra 50 wood that we're going to be putting out onto the lumber camp. Normally this would have gone on the mining camp, so we don't have to worry about dirty straggler trees today. We get 100% pure efficiency from the lumber camp. And now all we're doing is we're keeping those same 2 villagers on gold, 6 villagers on food, and we're just rallying to wood. For the next couple of minutes, all we're going to be doing is rallying out to wood. So it's really simple when it comes down to a macro perspective, because you don't have to move the rally points around too much. You don't have to move the villages around too much. Now, I haven't done, you know how I normally do those little Excel spreadsheet images for you guys. I haven't done that here because I've just wanted to get this out as quickly as I possibly can. I'm filming a lot of content at the moment because I'm heading away for the holidays. And this is just some of the content that I want to try and bring out to you. It's the new updated Byzantine build order. So at this stage, we're looking at a pretty early age up. It works out to be around 4 minutes 10, somewhere around that. So now we're scouting out the enemy base. We're seeing what they're up to. We're obviously playing against an AI, so it's really not that important what I'm doing against the AI. But for your games, you're going to want to be doing this, having a look and saying, okay, it looks like he's on stone. Looks like it's probably going to be a second town center. So let's begin rallying our units outside his base. So we can send our hippodrome and we can rally them up towards this northern position. And that's going to allow us to make sure that we can be aggressive if we need to. Meanwhile, behind this, we're going to throw down a house, and we're going to be looking for our upgrade. So you can see we've actually got a pretty competitive timing. Have a look at that. Not 4 minutes 10. It's going to be 3:59, so a little bit earlier than what I thought. Now, one thing to note is every time you construct a building, you're going to be getting stone with this civilization. So instead of putting villages on stone early, what we're going to do is we're just going to leave it, and we're going to let that stone trickle in naturally as the Byzantines. Now that we've got our age up through, there's a couple of things that we need to check off our list. Number one, we need to get double broadaxe. Number two, we need to make sure that we've got a horseman in queue. And number three, we need to make sure that we've got villagers in queue. Those are the important things. So we're going to go ahead and do those things. Villagers are in queue. Double broadaxe is coming through. And now, once we've got enough resources for it, you can see that we are going to throw in our horsemen in queue. Very nice and early here. It's only going to take 16 seconds to build. And after our first horseman comes out, we're going to be going into the Expilatores upgrade. This is really important. It can be the difference between getting a villager kill and not getting a villager kill. So we want to try and prioritize this early on in the game. And what we're going to do then is once we click that button, we're going to switch our system over from Conscriptio over to Dialecticus. And that's going to reduce the amount of time it takes to get Expilatores out. It's also going to reduce the amount of time that it takes for double broadaxe to come out. And then once it's complete, another horseman, and then we're switching it back over to Conscriptio. And it's very, very seamless. And at this stage, just remember our macro, we've still got 11 villagers. Those 5 villagers that built the landmark, they just went back over onto sheep. And we just continue rallying out to wood. We've got our double broadaxe in. Obviously, we don't have our horticulture or our wheelbarrow just yet because we don't have a mill down, but that will be coming through later. And now we're looking to put on some pressure with our horsemen. Now, for me, here, up against the AI, I'm not too keen on demonstrating, how we should be utilizing the horsemen, because that's not part of the build order. That's up to you. That's going to take your skill level, whether you're gold level at the Conqueror level, how much you're going to be capable of doing with this. I want to emphasize that honestly, you can just rally these units to the front of your base, and it's going to be just as efficient at your level, whereas at Conqueror level, it might be important to go and hit the gold villages up towards this top side. So behind this, we're adding in an archery range. So naturally, we're going to start building up a surplus of wood because we're rallying out to wood. It only costs us 20 wood for each horseman. So it's going to be very quick that we build up with that wood surplus. And now we're going to throw down the archery range. The archery range is going to be key here. It's going to allow us to counter enemy spearmen. And look, we're still quite early into the game, 5 minutes 40. Now what we're doing is getting our border settlements upgrade through, and that's going to allow our houses to complete very quickly and give them plenty of line of sight. So we're just looking to pick up all these little accessory upgrades early on in this game. Expilatores, border settlements. We'll also make sure, I was going to call them the Tiki Torches. It's not called the Tiki Torches, it's called the Trapezites. We'll look to try and pick that up as well. Always making sure that we're training. So one of the key things that we're looking for is, are we training our villagers and are we making units in the early game? Those are the big things for us. Now that Trapezites upgrade will be coming through. Once again, what are we going to do? We're going to switch it over to Dialecticus. Just quickly get that upgrade out. We want to spam that upgrade out so we can get back to our production of horsemen. I'm just sieging down the house here. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. And we're just going to continue pumping at this stage. And what makes this civilization, it requires a PhD on one hand, but once you've kind of mastered the basics of it, it's very forgiving. If I need to rush a house up, you can see I'm kind of a little bit in a jiffy, right? Or a little bit of a problem. Boom, 3 seconds, and the house is complete. It's really, really nice. I remember playing the English, or the British back in Age of Empires 3. They had a card that allowed you to build houses really fast. And it was great for noobs, but it was not very good if you were, adept at the game. And it was very, very helpful. Once we've run out of sheep, that's absolutely fine. We're just going to be rotating our villagers out onto the berry bushes, which is going to be great. And we're going to be working on our horticulture upgrade first. We want to prioritize horticulture first and then wheelbarrow after that. And that's because the first berry bushes that we've got here are going to be nice and close to the mill, so we're not going to need a huge amount of walking distance. Meanwhile, behind this, we are still spamming out units whenever we have the chance to. The idea, we want to keep our resources as close to zero as we possibly can. We always want to be training villagers. villagers, and then spending whichever one you've got more of. If you've got more food, you train a horseman. If you've got more wood, you make it an archer. Very, very simple stuff. So that's going to be important throughout the game. And then once you build up that little surplus of wood, you can afford to throw down a mercenary house, because now you've transitioned these villagers out over onto berries. You're going to be able to get that next set of mercenaries through. Depends on which matchup you'd like to go. The safest bet, though, it's going to be to go for those longbows at the Western mercenary contract. But today I'm going to opt for the Eastern mercenary contract because I'm playing against a Japanese player and samurai are a threat. So I want to make sure that I've got Keshiks out on the field to help counter them. So now I'm just picking up the rest of my upgrades. I don't have my wheelbarrow through just yet, but I'm looking to pick up things like forestry, get them out nice and early. A little bit of idle time here on my TC, something that you want to avoid doing. But you can see that one of the other things that we're doing here is we're working towards that third cistern. And so once that third cistern will come down, we'll be looking to continue pushing that economy. But one of the other things you might notice is we're starting to stack up quite a bit of wood here. And that there is something that you can do when you've got too much wood. So the first thing you can do is add production. I wouldn't recommend that here. You've got more than enough production to keep your resources low. What you need to do is you need to fix your macro. And this is absolutely fine. This is part of the plan because we're rallying the town center out over to wood at this stage. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 5 villages, just 5 villages when we've got an excess of wood like this, and we're going to take them out to a berry patch. What we're going to do is we're going to build an outpost. We're going to build a mill. And with that, that's going to allow us to keep those villages safe, but it's also going to allow us to diversify the wood that we've got excess of. Remember before, there are 2 aspects of me having excess wood. Number 1, I have too many villages on wood, so that's my income. So I'm moving those villages off wood onto food. And number 2, it's my stockpile. I've got a lot of wood in the bank from having those excess villages there, so I need to spend that wood. So we're killing 2 birds with 1 stone by doing this. We're spending that 150 wood out here, and now I'm taking 5 villages there with me. And if I've got a little bit extra wood in the bank, you know what I can do? I can say, well, actually, why don't I just go ahead and take another set of villagers out and build another outpost and another mill? And now, all of a sudden, I'm gearing up for my castle age. I'm getting towards that stage where I'm saying, okay, I'm putting some good pressure out on this map. I'm killing landmarks, I'm killing villages, I'm killing units, I'm doing whatever it is. And I'm killing. I'm still making my units back here. You can see I've got horsemen, I've got archers coming out, plenty of units on the field here. We're just going to continue training them whenever we've got those spare resources. But now becomes the next stage. Now that we've said to ourselves, okay, I've begun my berry transition, now I can focus on my next stage. And for me, that's about getting stone. If I'm able to get stone, what that's going to mean is I can get my level 3 cistern up, level 4 cistern, eventually my level 5 cistern. Now, you could go for a second TC if you like, if that's your kind of style. For me, that is my kind of style, but I'm not going to do that here. I'm just going to focus on getting my cisterns up. I want to get to level 5 because then I can go to Castle Age and have a really nice Golden Horn Tower. So, behind this, we finally see that wheelbarrow upgrade coming through. You can see it's going to get very good value here. It's a little bit late, to be honest. I probably should have prioritized it a little bit more here, but it's the same sort of, it's absolutely fine with where it is at the moment. And we're just going to continue making units. So if we've got excess food, we're just going to be making horsemen. If we've got excess wood, we'll make sure that we make archers. Very simple stuff. But now we're going to throw down that next cistern, and I'm going to be looking to connect it out to my berries so that my villagers have got that extra cistern bonus out here. And I'll be making sure to connect another network out towards these berries as well, because we've got deer out here. This is a pretty nice little spot. You've got lots of resources, so getting a cistern up around here will give you a really good bonus. So we always want to try and look for those little areas that we can throw down the system. But even at this point in the game, right, we're 10 minutes into the game, we've got a pretty nice mass, and we've got a lot of things going for it. So we've got the cisterns that we're slowly building up. We've got all of our upgrades, almost all of them. We've got our wheelbarrow that's slowly coming through now. We don't have our mining upgrade, but we don't really have a lot of villagers on mining resources, so it's not a big deal. But at this stage of the game, we're feeling pretty good about ourselves. This is a decent number of units that we've got out here, and we're going to be able to utilize this to leverage our castle age. That's going to be the key here. It depends on the way that you want to play this, and I will just pause it here and just provide a caveat. The opening that I've given you is a build order. But after that, after you reach, say, a minute past the feudal age, the rest of it, it's up to you. It's a freestyle. You don't have to play the exact same way I've played. You don't have to get archers out on the map. If you're playing team games, maybe you can throw down a second stable and get more and more horsemen out. It's up to you how you want to play it. If you want to go for an early second TC, you could do that as well. It's all about utilizing that extra 50 stone that we have at the start of the game and maximizing the bonus that we get from that. Because often I've seen players, even at the top level, who take that 50 stone and just leave it there. I've literally seen players just, throw down a single cistern and then just say, oh, okay, I'm just going to play standard. The devs have given us that 50 stone for a reason, and we want to try and maximize the bonus that we get from it. So we'll continue on, and I'll show you just where you can go from here So we want to make sure that we are always training our Keshiks whenever we have the resources to, or training our mercenaries whenever we have the resources to. Keep in mind, you can always use the neutral trading post as well. We've got some Musofadi out here. Not too exciting. And then behind this, we're going to be gearing up to Castle Age. So the way that I like to do it is I go for my level 5 cistern, and you can see I've got quite a bit of villagers over on stone, and we're going to be rallying out to stone with quite a few villagers. And we've rallied out the TC down over towards this cistern just to connect it to the network. We've got a nice little deer pack down here. So it's always about making sure our resources are going to be included here, but at the same time that we've still got pretty good coverage. If you take a look here, we've got pretty decent coverage on most of our base. We're only really missing this quadrant down here, but there's no resources here. So it's absolutely fine to be missing out on that. And then when I eventually do add farms later or olive groves later in the game, I'm going to make sure that I'm adding them in around these cisterns. That's going to be a key factor. So now what we're going to be doing is once we have got enough to throw down our 5th and final cistern, we are transferring all of those stone villages onto gold. And we are going to very quickly get this stone building up, or this gold building up, and we're going to be going straight to Castle Age. Now, we're 12 minutes through the game. It's a little bit late. If you want to go only 4 cisterns, go for it. It means that you can go for a little bit earlier of a Castle Age. I don't know what the exact number would be, maybe a minute earlier, something like that, by not going for that last cistern. But for me, as you can see, I got quite a bit of an aqueduct coming up here. Probably not the most efficient way to place it, but I said to myself, it'll do, it'll do. So it's coming up. We're using all the villagers here as well to build it, because I figured the 25% bonus is definitely going to be noticed out there on those berries. And you can see that we're working towards that Castle Age, and I'm picking up a couple of important upgrades. So maybe +1 ranged armor could be useful in this situation. I could have got it a little bit earlier. I'm also going to be looking for specialized pick here as well, but realistically it just comes down to you. It comes down to your game, and from here we'll just speed it up. We'll get it up, moving a little bit faster. And the idea is that we're going to be utilizing these gold villagers, keeping them here on gold. And then when we're ready to age up, we're going to be picking out our food villagers. We've got 20 villagers on food. So here I'm going to take all of these guys off. Going to get them to hand in their food, and then I'm going to get them out over here. So you can see we're now making sure that our economy is getting ready for those upgrades in the Castle Age. When we get to Castle Age, it's so important that we upgrade our units straight away. And we want to upgrade the units that we've got. We don't want to upgrade the units that we plan on making. So let's say all of a sudden I'm deciding I'm going to throw down 3 barracks right in this front position, and I'm going to start spamming Lamentini. That's great. You can get the veterancy upgrade for the Lamentini, but just do it after you upgrade your existing units, because we want to try and maximize the bonus that we get from those. That's really important. Maybe we cancel the barracks just because we've only got 5 villas on wood, and we just want to make sure that we've got enough wood for our upgrades if we need them. So anyway, the age up comes through, and as soon as the age up comes through, what are we doing? We're clicking our upgrades at 1, 2, and we're switching our cistern over to Dialectica straight away. And you can see that we've only got 10 seconds to wait on our horseman upgrade. We've only got 9 seconds to wait on our archers, and we've only got 11 seconds left on our mercenaries. We've got all 3 of these upgrades. It's going to upgrade our Keshiks, it's going to upgrade our archers, it's going to upgrade our horsemen here, and we're going to have an absolute field day. And then once our barracks are complete, we're going to be switching this bad boy back over to Conscriptio, and now we're going to be pumping out Varangian Guards. There you go. Perfect. At the same time, +2 ranged armor. We're making sure that we've got this in the radius of a cistern, and we're making sure that cistern is on Dialecticus as well. So we've got that ranged armor as soon as we age up. And that's pretty much it. Anyway, let me know down below in the comments if there's anything that you think I've missed. If you'd like to check out more educational content like this, then don't be afraid to check out the Patreon. There's plenty of content that's over there right now for free. We do have paid content as well if you'd like to check out content for this season that's paid. But other than that, we'll leave it there, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.